Okay, let's talk about the matrix for a second here. This is the area is called the matrix. There's 4 matrix here. And what we can do is we can take portions of the signals from the various channels and send them over to the matrix. The matrix is sort of like a grand input, if you want. It has an external input, which is on the back. It's a 1/4 inch input. These are usually balanced 1/4 inch inputs. And then this particular, let's just talk about this matrix right here, MTX1. We can either mute the channel, or we can AFL that channel, so we can listen to the various signals that we have coming in. And we can take either a portion of group 1, which is the fader, main group fader down here. Remember, we have group 1, 2, 3, and 4, left and right, and main output. We can either take a portion of group 1, 2, group 3, group 4, or left and right. And we can also input gain for that particular output going. This is the level. This is not gain, this is the level. There's the difference. This is the level for that sound being sent out the matrix to like a recorder. Typical uses would be like for stereo input, stereo output to a audio recorder or to a video recorder, so you can actually take these signals and send them directly to the camera or the CD burner, or to a computer that's recording the service or anything like that. We can actually create mixes with that. Now, I told you about group 1, 2, 3, and 4. That also depends on whether or not you have these assigned as subgroups or unique groups, which is actually changed by this button right here, and I will talk about it in greater detail when I get down there. Next section is our auxiliaries. Remember, we have all these auxiliaries here. If I turn auxiliary 1 up, that signal, as well as all other signals combined that are going down auxiliary 1, are sent to this master auxiliary out. And then on the back side of the board is an auxiliary output going to, let's say, like a monitor feed or to amplifiers. Those are typical recipients of the mix from auxiliary 1, the same thing with auxiliary 2, auxiliary 3, 4, 5, and 6. In your particular case, 6 is going to be very important, as well as the other ones, auxiliary 1 and I think auxiliary 4, when I get around to that. Those are the ones you're going to be using most. The other auxiliaries are not really in too much use right now unless you need to use them. And next thing down, of course, we can listen to the summation of all auxiliary 1. We can listen to them through the headphones as well as on the LED. It was a 18 or 13 segment LED. We can get an idea how the signal is being combined into that channel so we don't overdrive that channel, so on and so forth. We can do that by listening to the AFL on that particular auxiliary. Auxiliary 2, auxiliary 3, auxiliary 4, auxiliary 5, and auxiliary 6, auxiliary 6. And you notice that every time I hit an AFL, either on a channel or on one of these auxiliaries, or even on one of the subgroup channels, which has anywhere you have an AFL, as soon as you press that button or on the matrix, you see this red light comes on. That red light tells you, hey, one of your AFL buttons or a group of AFL buttons are depressed. So you don't misinterpret this signal that you're watching as being the main output signal coming out of the main outputs or the left and right outputs. Okay, let's move on down. Okay, going down a little further here. Remember, we were talking about these buttons here, which are assigned the subs. Either you can go group 1 or to left and right. If I do not depress this button, the signal going into this subgroup right here will not go over to left and right. It will go out just only to the output on the back, which is marked on the back group 1. And the same with group 2, 3, and 4. So if I have these all depressed up, there will be no signal going from these subgroups over to left and right. Keep that in mind, it's very important. In your case, it's probably going to be group, they're going to have all depressed, so they all go to left and right. If you look closely, it says group 1, and then below it says to left and right, which are left and right. Okay, and of course, once again, we can either pan the signal coming into this group either to the left, to the right, for a stereo mix if we want to create one. That's more advanced mixing right there. Most of the time, for your use right now, you're just going to want to pan them straight up or balance them straight up. But always have these depressed in for right now. Of course, you can mute any of these groups, and once again, the signal will come in and will not go anywhere. Although you can, at least AFL, listen to it on the headphones and check the metering, check your levels up by the meter, as well as on these 4 segment LEDs. Okay, let's take these out of mute mode since we are going to use those further. And of course, once we establish a good reference signal via our AFL, we will then be able to bring our fader up and get a balance going over to the left and right in our case here, because we have these assigned, and that's called assigning. We have those assigned to left and right instead of just being unique with that button, the group 1 or left and right assignment buttons. Of course, we can mute them for situations we need to. Check our metering. Usually when we check metering, we're usually only doing one at a time, but you can actually do them in groups, left and right stereo, if you're creating a stereo image of 2 sets of signals coming in. Okay, now let's go on over to left and right. Left and right, there are left and right outputs on the back. I think there are. Usually there are. And we can check our summation signal going to left and right. That's being the signals that are assigned from groups 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as if we happen to have a button depressed for left and right on the input channel over here. If I have that channel input assignment button pressed to left and right, that signal, as well as any of these other signals, will show up in the left and right mix. Left and right mix, of course, are unique, but you notice there's no balance control over here. They will then be summed, S-U-M. It's a summation of those 2 signals over to our master output, which is connected to our main amplifiers that feed the main speakers, the main speaker cluster over the top of the podium area. Okay, so let's look a little further. Let's move along.